Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of Ash's Fantasy Facts. We have left the Sports.KTAR Fantasy Boardroom for the beautiful Wigwam Resort. I want to thank them for letting us do this out here as we get you ready for week number 8 in the NFL. Look, I'll tell you right now, let's get this out of the way. A ton of bye weeks. You got 6. That's the most so far this year. 6 teams with a lot of players on bye this week. Those 6 teams are Atlanta, Baltimore, Chicago, the New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles, and the Cleveland Browns. Think about that. That's 6 running backs. That's 5 quarterbacks. That's a lot of wide receivers that aren't going to be in your lineup. So take that into consideration. Let's move on. Let's try to find you some players that you can fit into your roster and see if we can't come out a winner this week. Let's start the quarterback position. Mark Sanchez. That's right, Mark Sanchez. I kind of like Mark Sanchez coming off the bye this week. The Jets are taking on a Green Bay Packer bunch that's a little banged up. So I look for Sanchez to put up some nice fantasy numbers. They're starting to get it going with the Jets. And Ryan Fitzpatrick. In fact, I like Ryan Fitzpatrick and I like Matt Castle, both quarterbacks in that game, Buffalo at Kansas City. Fitzpatrick's the man now in Buffalo. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but he's been putting up some decent fantasy numbers, and Buffalo doesn't quit. They fight to the bitter end. They took Baltimore to overtime last week. So if you're in desperate need of a quarterback, look for Ryan Fitzpatrick. And I like McNabb this week on the road with Washington in Detroit. My tread lightlies at quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. In fact, I look at Aaron Rodgers' schedule the next few weeks. It's brutal until like week 12 or 13. Just keep that in mind. He's one of my quarterbacks. I'm going to throw him out there, but he might not put up great numbers. And also Matt Hasselbeck. I don't like Matt Hasselbeck this week on the road at Oakland. Oakland, a good pass defense. Let's move on to the running back positions here in week number 8. A couple of my must-starts, Marshawn Lynch, Seattle. Okay, they might not throw the ball. They are going to run the ball because Oakland can't stop the run. And Marshawn Lynch getting a heavy dose these last couple weeks from the Seattle Seahawks. I like that start a lot. I also like, on the flip side, Darren McFadden. Now, he's not going to duplicate what he did last week, but he'll be good. He's their number 1 guy. It's not Michael Bush. So Darren McFadden, don't expect a repeat, but put him in your lineup. My tread lightlies, I got a bunch at running back. D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart, both running backs for Carolina. Look, Carolina's awful. I know they beat the 1-9ers last week, but they are not good. D'Angelo Williams is all banged up. If he doesn't play, I like Jonathan Stewart a little bit more, but if they're both going to play, I don't play either one. New Orleans running back Chris Ivory taking on Pittsburgh, not a good start. And Ryan Matthews, I think a lot of people are done. He's playing Tennessee at home. You can't count on Ryan Matthews right now. He's splitting too many carries. Tolbert's getting carries. Sproles got a bunch of carries last week. Till he proves it, I'm keeping Ryan Matthews out of my lineup. Let's move on to the wide receiver position in week number 8. I love Pierre Garçon this week for the Indianapolis Colts. No Austin Collie. Could be a shootout. Colts are going to spank Houston. It's a payback revenge type game. I love Pierre Garçon this weekend. Dwayne Bowe. You know how this dude, he has his name tattooed on his back like a jersey. You better be good if you do that. And the last few weeks, Dwayne Bowe has been better than good. He's been great. So Dwayne Bowe is a start for the Kansas City Chiefs in that game against Buffalo. My tread lightlies at the wide receiver position this week. I got a couple of them that I don't like. One is Randy Moss, New England. Now, normally, going back to New England, I would like Randy Moss. You know, Minnesota, he go pay back his old team. He doesn't know what his quarterback's going to be. It might be Brett Favre on one leg. It might be Tavares Jackson. I'm staying away from Randy Moss. And stay away from Seattle wide receiver Mike Williams this week. Asamoah from Oakland, he'll be D'ing him up. I think his string of good games comes to an end this week. Let's move on. Time now for my sleeper of the week. And my sleeper of the week this week, believe it or not, John Kitna, quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. I know a lot of fantasy owners frowned when Tony Romo went down, and he's going to be out for a while. I'm thinking Kitna might be a good start this week. He didn't look great at the beginning of that game on Monday, but he came on strong at the end. Plus, they're playing Jacksonville at home, must win. I'm going to throw Kitna in, as I had Romo in one of my leagues. I get to keep Kitna because he was the backup. I'm going to start him this week in my league. That's my sleeper of the week. And now, time for my dud of the week. And my dud of the week this week is Knowshon Moreno from the Denver Broncos. Man, did they get smoked last week. And I enjoyed every second of it. And this week, they're in London. Not taking on any London team, but they're playing in London, taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Niners are already there. They've been there all week. They left right after the game on Sunday. Broncos aren't getting there until mid-afternoon on Friday. Don't you have some time you need, jet lag and stuff? I don't like any Broncos this week. My dud of the week, though, Knowshon Moreno. That's it. That's how we do it, even outdoors in the elements here at the Wigwam Resort for week number 8 of Ash's Fantasy Facts. Remember, any questions, comments, concerns, send them my way, ash@ktar.com, Twitter, ash620, or on Facebook, Mark Asher. Don't forget the bye weeks this week. You got Atlanta, Baltimore, Chicago, the New York Giants, Philadelphia, and Cleveland. 6 teams on a bye. Keep that in mind when you set your lineups. We wish you the best of luck in week number 8. It's Ash's Fantasy Facts.
I got a feeling